Richie Aprile is easily one of the most hated characters in The Sopranos, and this is for good reason, because outside of just generally having a punchable face, he commits some of the most heinous acts that we see on the show. And in my opinion, the worst of these is his treatment of his old friend Beansy. At the start of season 2, Richie Aprile, fresh off of a 10-year prison sentence, decides to pay his friend Beansy a visit. But rather than reminiscing about the old times, Richie decides to complain about not getting a single visit during the 10 years he was incarcerated, and uses this as an excuse to try and shake down Beansy for money. But Beansy's close friends with Tony and refuses to be intimidated. After cracking a jug of what I hope wasn't scalding hot coffee across his face, Richie decides to go all WWE on him and hits him with the steel chair. And as if that wasn't enough, when Beansy goes running to Tony for protection, causing Tony to point out Richie's hypocrisy and tell him to stop trying to intimidate Beansy, Richie decides to teach him a lesson that he'll never forget by running him over. I've heard of snitches getting stitches, but Richie clearly operates under the rats get broken backs rule. Richie, the absolute psychopath that he is, doesn't seem to care that he's crippled a one-time close friend.
I thought I told you to back the off Beansy.
I did. Then I put it in drive.
Oh, you think this is funny? That guy might never walk again.
Even when Tony orders him to build Beansy a ramp in order to make his house wheelchair accessible, he refuses, only after realizing that going to war with Tony will be a lot more expensive and time-consuming than building a ramp. He decides to visit Beansy in the hospital and offer to build the ramp.
I don't want jack shit from you.
Okay, I'll leave. But if you go crying to Tony Soprano one more time, if you open your mouth, I'm gonna send your arms where your legs are.
He just can't help himself. Even when doing the ostensibly right thing, he has to bully and intimidate. That's what makes it so perfect, that need to physically dominate and belittle others is exactly what causes his death. Honorable mention for his hypocrisy in threatening to kill Christopher for beating up Adriana without first marrying her.
Out of respect for our friend here, I'm gonna talk nice. I ever hear you raise your hands to my niece again, next time you won't see my face. You understand?
He even specifies that once she has a ring on her finger, he's free to use her as a human punching bag again.
Look, kid, I shouldn't have to explain myself. I'm from the old school. You want to raise your hands, you give her your last name. Then it's none of my business. Until then, keep your hands in your pockets.
I don't know which is worse, the exemption for marital violence or not following the rules that you were so eager to enforce. But then again, what can you expect from a guy who holds a gun to his fiance's head during sex?